Shout out our sponsors, GW Competitions. They run regular draws for you to win different prizes from cash to Rolexes to cars and all sorts. It's all legit and the draw is run through the Google number generator. And the prize is delivered the next day, and if it's cash, it's transferred the same day. The draws are run on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. And you got to be in it to win it.
Ayo, we made this. Ammo 7 did it again.
Back again at the Big Ego Media podcast. Today we got someone that's I could say a very good friend from childhood, a bit older than me, but someone that I remember as a kid in Gloucester Estate. I can't remember too much at Brunswick Park Primary School. You said that we went to together. I remember your sister, but it's a good friend of mine called Ethan. So Ethan, how are you today, man?
Bro, I'm doing really well, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, you're doing a lot in your community with the work that you do. Can you tell us? Tell us a bit about that before we go back to the history.
Yeah, no problem. So I've been in the youth work sector for 20 years now.
Wow.
20 years. My first job as a teenager in Kids Company in Camberwell. And I've continued that for many years. And, cut a long story short, I've been a youth worker for many years and working in several boroughs in London, engaging with young people, mainly using music as a means of engagement. But I've been in management for the past, say, 3 to 4 years. And really sort of just kind of passing down the knowledge and just helping others to really support young people wherever they are at. So,
I mean, what's the company?
Oh, the company's XLP.
XLP,
and it's weird that you asked me that now because I'm actually leaving.
Okay.
In September.
Okay, wow.
I'm gonna move on to just go and take a bit of time out to work out sort of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Really, but. Yeah, man, 20 years in the graft.
Yeah.
I've actually been at XLP for 13 of those years.
Wow.
And it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
So, I mean, let's go back to history then. So, like, where are you from, your family background and so on?
Yeah, okay, so family background from Jamaica. I wasn't born in London. I was born in Buckinghamshire, Aylesbury.
Okay, wow.
But came to Peckham when I was a baby. So Peckham is what I really know.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier on, I grew up on the Gloucester Estate.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Yeah.
Miss that place so much. So many memories, from quite a big family. I've got 6 brothers and 5 sisters. And I'm just sort of like the second oldest. And
who's the oldest?
My brother. Nate's he's the oldest. And as you said, when Brunswick Park. So I remember you as a little young one. You probably you won't remember me, but I remember you in primary school, and just mainly grew up around the Peckham area, and I
mean, growing up, the Gloucester Estate, I have fond memories of it as a young kid, just a place of fun, enjoyment, laughter. But when you're looking back now, it was sort of deemed a dangerous place. Did you ever see the dangers at a young age?
Good question. I did see some of the dangers, but I was always on, I guess, the other side. Yeah. So, a lot of the let's say the negative things that happened, a lot of the times I knew those who were responsible. Yeah. But my dad, he done a good job at trying to keep my brother and I away from certain things. Yeah. But when you grow up in certain areas, you can't escape seeing certain things. When certain things happen, like you're there, you see it. But we had some great times. As you said, like it was definitely a place of love, great community. Everyone sort of looking out for each other, But you can't avoid seeing certain things.
I mean, do you think the community element of society has disappeared? When you look at sort of these old estates where people grew up knowing each other, now everything is sort of broken down, and there's sort of these, again, I get confused because they break down these sort of tower blocks and high rises, but they're sort of building this new age high rises at the same time. But it's not that sense of community that was anymore, and does gentrification play a part in that?
Definitely does play a part. I would say I wouldn't go as far to say that the community element is not there anymore. Maybe there's I guess a new sense of community that we don't get to see and experience because we've done growing in the estate and we've been past. But I think the community interaction has changed.
Yeah.
Like social media plays a big role, you know, the internet and everything. We never had none of that. Growing up, we never had mobile phones and stuff, you know. So if we want to arrange a link up, it's all right, let's meet here 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're not there by 3, everyone's gone. You know what I'm saying? But now everything's online and stuff. So I guess it's a different form of community.
Yeah.
And I guess where I'm sort of out of that sort of estate life, maybe I don't get to see it as much no more. So I wouldn't say it's disappeared. It's probably changed.
I mean, you was around some of the kind of prominent figures in Peckham growing up. How did you sort of stray away from getting caught up in some of the madnesses that was going on at the time? Or did you dabble?
Definitely dabbled.
Yeah.
But from young, I always knew that badness weren't for me.
Yeah.
I would say home life was a bit messy, and you know, family was involved in certain things. So I heard a lot from a young age.
Yeah.
But that's not what I really wanted for myself.
Yeah.
But the challenge for me being young was I didn't know how to get anything different.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm with certain prominent figures. I'm getting involved in some things, but I had strong will.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to say, no, I'm not getting involved in that. I remember back in the days when certain things used to happen. Hey, man, them going ghetto. Whoever's not going ghetto, man, they're an idiot. I feel like, so I don't care. I ain't going. Like I was never pressured into doing what I didn't want to do. And I think that was probably the start of me becoming a young man that I became, in sort of straying away from certain things because I had that strong will and determination. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. You know, when you're close with people, when certain things happen, you wanna defend it. Yeah. Yeah. You wanna support, you wanna back up. But at the same time, you're trying to weigh up, is this who I wanna be?
Was there any sort of backlash? You're saying, "What, you're not gonna roll that with us? What's going on, man?" Did you feel the pressure and you feel like, "Oh, I'm letting the team down"?
Pressure, no. Yeah. No, I think it's weird. As you know, growing up where we grew up, although you had Peckham, you had your little batches. Yeah. I was from Gloucester. Yeah. So I had my firm little Gloucester batch, and then others I knew from you know, different settings, football or whatever, etc. But I didn't really care what anyone else had to say. As I said, I was kind of strong-willed, and I was always willing to you know, support and back the man them, etc. Yeah. But at the same time, what a lot of people wouldn't have known is, whilst I'm with the man them, I'm trying to talk peace. I'm trying to talk happiness. I remember we used to have mad conversations, and I was trying to bring a good perspective because deep down, that's what I really wanted. Yeah. So I guess that played a part in me being able to avoid.
I mean, how do you get that strong will? That's something that come down from your parents? Because some of these young people, I mean, I put up a video yesterday that went viral on TikTok about the young man who got the text message from someone in jail telling them, if you guys don't ride out, you guys are idiots. So how does that young man and young people listen now, how did it sort of get that strong will? Where does it come from? Is it self-built, or can they get taught that?
You can get taught it. So my father always used to tell me and my brother, don't follow people. You know, don't follow people, and don't bring no trouble back to my house. You know, and I think those things kind of, from as a young boy, all the pressures around you, that's something that sort of stayed there. Yeah. So whenever a scenario will come up, it's like, don't follow. Don't follow. What do you want to do? Do what you want to do. And I won't lie, there was sometimes I did kind of follow into certain things because I wanted to defend and whatnot. And to be real, I wouldn't change that for anything. Yeah. But I knew that I knew what I didn't want to do. I just didn't know what I wanted to be. So that dabbling became a part of that. Yeah. You know, figuring things out.
So in terms of, you went Brunswick Park, where did you go for secondary?
I went to Bacon's College.
Bacon's College, okay. Yeah. Slightly off, Bermondsey side.
Bermondsey. Yeah. That was a weird one because you know, you grew up in Peckham, most of your friends are going local schools, Warwick Park, you know, some went Kingsdale, Hatchingwood, etc. But because my brother got sent Bacon's, and I remember when I first went there and I saw the building was beautiful, all glassed off, everything. I'm like, wow, I want to go there. And the only thing that sort of put me off was back then we heard that Bacon's had bare racist brothers in there. But I'm glad I went Bacon's because it got me to kind of experience a sort of another culture. You know, like that white British culture. Yeah. I got to make loads of friends and I got to, see another type of lifestyle.
Do you think that might have also played a part in you keeping out of trouble? Because sometimes when you're kind of away from everything, like for example, you might say, yeah, I don't want to get involved in anything, but say you went to Warwick Park and your friends in the Passa and you're there, you might have to, but when you're in Bacon, that sort of thing might not happen. That
definitely could have played a part because there was incidents with friends where certain things happened at their school and I weren't there. But at the same time, things happened at my school that we had to sort of deal with. We had to sort of kind of put our stamp down to say, all right, you know, we're not here to cause no trouble or nothing, but man's not having it if someone tries it, etc. So you could be right in that sense where we're kind of, you know, because school takes up a lot of time in one's life. Yeah. So we were plucked up out of the ends and went to school there where some other friends, they were in and amongst it. So they're seeing things every day. I remember coming out of school, front lines in front of you, you know, all those type of things there. I didn't have that. So yeah, you're probably right. That could have played a part. Yeah.
So I want to touch on a sort of more of a sensitive subject now, because like you said, growing up in Gloucester Estate, we had a friend, Marcus, known as Fraser. I mean, what's your earliest memories of him, like growing up in that estate? Do you remember?
Yeah, definitely. Fraser, man, my brother. Like my parents was close with his mum, and obviously when we used to hang around on the ends, sometimes his mum would let him out, and sometimes his mum wouldn't. But I've always just saw him as a little brother because he was like a couple of years younger than me, and we were close from a very young age, and I would say we became even more closer when I started DJing. Okay. And then when Fraser, he started to be an MC, so I said, come and be my MC. So we formed our little crew together. We used to call ourselves Combo Kids. Okay. You know, we used to go and tear up radio, everything, and we spent a lot of time together. And
were you guys doing garage at the time? Was that the thing?
No, we started off with jungle first.
Jungle, okay.
I won't lie, I was a bad boy jungle DJ, you know. And we was on a few pirate radio stations, and then we moved off to the garage sort of later on in life. But in general, he was just one of my brothers on ends. Someone who I loved dearly, you know, someone who I always looked out. And he always looked out for me as well. Real warm-hearted guy.
Because he's the first person I remember that we sort of hung around with when we went to Gloucester Estate. I remember going, and I used to go, the mum used to do, I don't know if it's their mum, but there used to be a Sunday thing, a Bible study or Bible class that used to happen downstairs, and I used to go every now and then. And on the sort of move on to what happened to him, but in terms of religion itself, did that play a part in your life early on in religion at the time?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't even like to use the term religion. I like to use the term faith. I'm a man of faith. You know, that's another conversation with the whole concept of religion. But definitely, when we're talking about being on gloss and, you know, growing up, whatnot, religion didn't play a part at all for me. I grew up in a household sort of mixed. So my father kind of Rastafarian. I know my mum, she sort of had a sort of loose Catholic background from my grandmother, but, you know, we were taught to say grace when we eat, and we was taught to thank God before we go to bed, but, you know, who God was to us, didn't really explore that. So definitely faith was not something a part of my life early. And I wanna big up two people. There's a family on the Gloss. I'm gonna say the name, Teddy and Lona. Okay. They're like two people dear to my heart who introduced the whole Christian faith concept to me. And I remember being young, man don't really want to hear that. Man on the block, we're jamming, we're bunning, we're chilling, we're having laughter and whatnot. And sometimes Teddy used to come out and he used to share two scripture and whatnot. Yeah. Sometimes we're like, nah, we don't really want to hear that. We're not saying that to him, but we're saying that after. But I won't lie. He used to share a few things and it used to stick with me. Yeah. And I always used to wonder, like, I wonder what things is like in that household. I used to hear them singing, giving praises to God, etc. And it made me used to wonder. So that was definitely maybe the first point of faith that kind of really stuck with me growing up in Inns. But other than that, no, not at all. Yeah.
I mean, back on sort of Fraser, so I think it's what, 2001? Right?
Yeah.
2001. So I remember coming back home from school, and at this point, everyone's moved out of Gloucester. Gloucester's been sort of broken down. I mean, someone showed me the other day, there's still parts of Gloucester somewhere. There's still parts of it.
Yeah, there's another half that's still up.
That's still up. But yeah, so we've moved, so we've gone to Jocelyn Street, and they live 3 doors from us. Our family still live right there now. And my dad's come, I said, oh, the boy a couple of doors down, he's dead, he got killed. I mean, when that's happened, like, how was that? Cause that's the first person I ever heard, so I get a bit emotional, that's the first person I ever heard that, oh, someone's died. I didn't know, I knew people died, but I didn't know that it can actually happen to someone you know. How was that for you, someone being so close to him?
The deepest thing was, like, I was with him the night that he died.
Yeah.
And I guess without going into much detail, the last words I said to him was, come and stand with me.
Yeah.
That's literally the last words I said to him, come and stand with me. And commotion happened, and, we ended up splitting up. And cut a long story short, he got attacked, etc. And I remember, finding where he was, and he hadn't passed then. And I remember I held his hand while he was on the floor, and I looked at him, and he squeezed my hand, and I said, bro, don't worry, you're gonna be all right, you're gonna be all right. And I remember the grip of his hand started to just get loose. And I remember I just broke down. And that was probably the beginning of the huge life change transition for me. Like, to lose someone that you love so dearly, it was heartbreaking. Like, I can honestly say it broke my heart. It sort of shattered everything. It's like nothing mattered anymore. I missed my friend. We had plans of doing things. We planned to journey together. And I felt that just got taken away. And I was hurt, bro. I was hurt, And even to sort of share this with you now, like this, I've come a long way. Yeah. I've come a long way.
Because I recently spoke to his younger brother, and even him saying that, well, you can't believe it's 20 years. And so some of these young kids, I don't think some of the young people these days actually understand they got so much life to live afterwards. Because he's past, I think, what, 18, 19 at the time, and they don't realize you still got your 30s, you still got your 40s, you still got your 50s, and so on. And like, is that something that sort of pushed you into working with youths a bit more?
100%. So as an 18, 19-year-old at that time, we couldn't really see beyond our teenage years. I remember being with Fraser, with another friend on Gloss, looking out the balcony, and you can see Canary Wharf from a distance. I remember we was chatting, and I was like, boy, them people over on Canary Wharf side, they won't really accept us, Didn't feel accepted. So it's almost like I couldn't see where life was going to take us. Because as I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really know what I wanted to be. I lacked ambition. And music seemed to be the savior at the time. So it's like, man wants to be the biggest DJ out there. We're going to roll together. Man ain't leaving the group, etc. So being in that position and knowing what that feels like, yes, I wanted to give back. I wanted to be the role model that I didn't have growing up. And not only did I want to be the role model, I wanted to specifically work with individuals who are from like where we're from, and who may have been stuck in that same mindset, to kind of help give exposure. You have to remember one thing as well, through this youth work journey of mine, whilst I'm giving other youths exposure to new things, I'm also being exposed to that same new thing as well, because I didn't get that when I was young. So I'm having to learn new things as I'm going along as well. And what a beautiful feeling it is to help someone find purpose in life. And I want to change it for nothing. Hence why I've been in there for 20 years.
And I think like, I think like, I messaged you maybe 3 or 4 months ago and I said that I need to interview you, right? Because you're one person, I think your flowers should be given, because what I say is that I told my brother this the other day. I said, Ethan's got a beautiful soul. I always remember you from a young person. I remember you used to try to tease me a little bit. I think one that you made it, you probably don't remember, you made a joke with me about your sister, about Ayana. You said, oh, I heard you like my sister. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? I think you tried to embarrass me.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I've always said that Ethan's got such a beautiful soul, and he's someone that where it irradiates. You probably don't see it, and it irradiates. And I said that I told my brother before, I need to interview Ethan, because I think that the work you're doing within the community, and like I said, we always get different people here who telling their stories about gangs and so on, and we want to sort of diversify. Yes, people come for those stories, but it's also for the people who have been within the communities, within the people who are doing these things, but they say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow a different path. So, like, talk us through your journey of going into kids company and sort of being a youth worker the first time.
So yeah, big props to a man named Culture. Again, I say his name, Mr. Errol Bell. He's a man who took me under his wing and said, you know what, I see something in you. Let me try and let me get you a little job where I work. So he was working for kids company at the time, and he got me a little part-time job in the music room. So I was kind of helping young youths sort of write lyrics, teach them how to DJ, etc. And at that time, I'm the same age as a lot of people that were coming and benefiting from kids company. So I sort of got to work with some of those, and that was a real sort of solid start, because some of the things that I've seen happen in that kids company was a madness. Yeah. I guess where man's sort of from that, it wasn't anything new, but it was a kind of a strong introduction to youth work, because I'm now on the other side. I'm now like a member of staff trying to help. But I would say that it was fruitful, and I sort of went on from kids company to sort of do sort of like informal mentoring, and then I joined another youth work charity in Lewisham, and that's when I started to sort of branch out a bit more, because I started to do mentoring within schools as well, across the Lewisham borough, and I just grew a love even more for just to kind of help people. Yeah. You know, I'm now in a position where I'm getting paid to help people. Do you know how beautiful that is? Like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. I'm getting paid to do it now. So I'm gonna mash this work up, because I love it. So I was at this youth charity called Jump in Lewisham, you know, mentoring, etc. And then 2008, I got an opportunity to start working for XLP. And I would say, for me, this is where my youth work journey sort of went from here to there, because XLP worked across several boroughs. It sort of gave me more exposure. And I started off piloting a mentoring program for a year. And then we were given a mobile recording studio that was an ex-police riot van. I got pimped out and pimped my ride as a mobile recording studio. So then a year after I started, they said, you know what, Eve, now we would like you to run this project. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. Yeah. So literally for 8-9 years, I took this music studio across London into several schools, several estates. I linked up with several community organisations and really used music as a means of engaging young people, and got to really hear young people's stories and give advice and guidance, but at the same time share my story. Because one of the things I realised within youth working and supporting people, you can't expect someone to kind of really open up and receive your help when they don't know nothing about you. Yeah. Like there's the stranger coming. So I was always willing to sort of be open. And same thing in terms of you saying about you felt I was always a sort of warm-hearted person. Yeah. I wanted people to sort of receive me in that way because I was coming in that love. Yeah. So I was just kind of just open to help. And where I would say I'm a humble person. I've never really wanted to kind of like get like a whole heap of praise for what I do. I just want to see the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've seen so many young people turn around and start doing something positive. And it's just been the biggest blessing. Biggest blessing.
And you said also you was at XLP for 13 years, but also about to celebrate your 13-year anniversary. So marriage, how has that been? How did you meet your wife? And
well, so funny enough, the same couple, Teddy and Lorna, that I mentioned earlier on, who was a blessing to me, where the introduction of faith came. I actually met her in their house. So
okay, wow.
Me and my good friend Jabus, he
Gideon's brother.
Yeah. He was dating someone, and her and Nadine are family.
Okay.
So Nadine come to check her cousin. No, not even cousin, her niece. And I met her on the staircase. I remember she was trying to play hard because I said, "What? Like, you're gonna give me a number?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "All right, cool." And then time I was like, "Yeah, man's got a gal anyway, so like, it's all right, you know." But I remember over the years we stayed as friends, etc. And then she said, "Yeah, she likes me, etc." And I'm like, you know what? I know you're a church girl and that, so I don't really want to mess up your head and all of that stuff. So I was like, let me know. Cut a long story short, after Fraser died, and I sort of went through that transition, and I gave my life to God, and I said I wanted this change. We kind of met up again after that, and then we started dating, and we were dating for about 5 years. And then in 2007, we got married. Yeah. And I remember at the time people saying, "Right, you're not too young." I was 25. I'm like, I've always wanted to get married. Yeah. And seeing the mess between my parents' relationship, I always said, when I get older, I want to be in a solid relationship and I want to treat a woman right. Yeah. And thank God I got an amazing wife.
And how is marriage life? And obviously it has its difficulties, as every marriage has, but what's been sort of the best thing about being married?
I think the best thing being married with my wife is she's so supportive. Like, she goes far and beyond to ensure that I'm the man who I want to be. Yeah. And it's the working together. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to be married in order to work together. Yeah. But what's been a blessing with us being married is it's the way how we see marriage. Yeah. We see God as the head of our marriage, and nothing can come and mash it up, and that we're gonna work together to not only benefit ourselves as a couple, but individually, but also as parents, because we got 3 children as well. And I would say that sort of connectivity through faith and via each other has been great. And it hasn't been smooth all the 13 years, The first 2 years was the roughest. If it wasn't for God in our life, we probably could have mashed up 5-6 times. But I would say, the beauty of working together, the beauty of learning how to compromise, the beauty of adjusting to how one changes over the years, because no one stays the same. Yeah. That's been the sweetest thing in marriage.
And how is fatherhood? As a father, do you take sort of situation from you growing up yourself and sort of passing it on to your children?
Yeah, I love fatherhood. Yeah. I've got 3 boys, and I'm open with my children, so I share a lot with my children. I sort of learn from the pros and cons of being a son myself and growing up with my parents and being like, okay, I love that aspect from my dad or that aspect from my mum, so I'm going to introduce that to my children. And what I sort of didn't like and what I didn't agree with, I'm not going to bring that in, but I'm going to speak to them about it. Because I want my children to get a sort of more rounded picture of life than I did at their age. So by the time they're 18, 19, they got a whole heap of ambition, which I didn't have, etc. So yeah, I love fatherhood, and I'm fortunate to play a huge role in my children's life. So I'm blessed with a role at the moment where I sort of manage my own timetable. Currently, working part-time intentionally, so that I can be there for my children, take them to football, do different activities, making sure I'm available for all parents' meetings. I take them to school.
And how important is that? Because a lot of times we hear, and I think sometimes it can be an excuse, but it is a factor that sort of lots of young people not growing up with their fathers, especially in the black communities. Does that play a massive role in what you're doing right now? Yeah,
definitely. I remember growing up, although, things were messy at home and there's, a lot that didn't work well, me and my brother were one of the few out of the man them that actually had a father at the home.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a difference. And I remember seeing the impact of those around us that didn't have a dad.
Yeah.
So not only have I learned from the mistakes that my dad made, I also see the importance and the difference in my children already at the fact that they have their father.
Yeah.
And I not only want to be a father to my children, but for their friendship circle, I also kind of want to be a father to them. Let them know, you know what, if anything, I'm here, etc. So credit to all the fathers out there that are there for their children. And even those fathers that can't see their children due to certain circumstances, big up to those that want to be there. And it hurts to know that there are some fathers that want to be there for their children and can't be. So, I just want to just shout out those fathers there. But yeah, fatherhood's amazing.
I definitely agree. So any sort of final words for us, for young people who are out there listening, just a word of encouragement, a word of sort of motivation for them? What would you like to leave us with?
Yeah, I will say, for any young person listening, it's okay to be humble. It's okay to be different. There's a lot of pressure out there to want to be a specific way, to want to be a bad boy or to want to flex or whatnot. It's okay to be different. You don't have to do that. And I'll also say to any young person and parent that may be watching this, try and expose your children or young people, try and expose yourself to different environments. Don't sort of stick around and stay in the sort of one area that you're from, because there's only so much you're going to see and you can only be what you see. So the more things that you're exposed to, the more choices and options that it gives you. So that'll be my message, because that's done a lot for me, being exposed to different things. And my children, I'm hoping that will do the same for them, So yeah, man, I'll leave you guys with that.
No, I appreciate it, man. That's Big Ego Media, and that was my good friend Ethan.